Well, good evening, everybody. It's your old host, Sergeant Friday. President's Day. Presidente Day. Wow, hold, please. All right, there we go. No feedback through YouTube. I forgot to mute my YouTube because I was caught in awe and shock and awe when I looked at my, what do you call it? I looked at my X account and my avatar of Cock Tower, which is displayed in my account on X, is lit up and flashing, and pretty awesome. Who would have thunk, right? Who would have thunk? But welcome everyone for the few that may be in here. What up there, Tamara? We're gaining viewers all across the globe. Not on Rumble though. Rumble is I think it's a site for retardation, which is kind of fine. I mean, even retards need somewhere to go. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what's happening there. I've got in all of these months 27 followers, which is awesome. It's 27 more than zero, but nonetheless, what are you gonna do? It's cold as fuck. Don't even want to go outside, man. I've been out there having fun with my plow, my snowy plow, on the fronts of the truck. Yeah, I definitely enjoy winters when it does not snow a ton, but snows enough so that you can fly around on snow-covered streets and plow your driveway and build yourself a big-ass mountain in the middle of your front yard. Hell yeah. I got the mountain of Nissan in the front yard. The Nissan mountain, because it's a Nissan truck that I plow with. Nissan, Datsun. Anyway, everybody, welcome to the stream. No real topic other than pointing out, once again, there's 5.63 billion online social media morons. And we're in our full glory, being the morons that all morons can be. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. We do often have a queen of morons that does visit the site here, and it's kind of nice. Yeah, for skiers, or better yet, snowmobile weather. I would be more attached to the snowmobile sport, which I was a long time ago, than I would any kind of skiing. Not real keen on skiing personally. Something about flying down a hill with no brakes is a bit terrifying. No, that's not the reason. I don't know, man. The power of a snowmobile is awesome. Yeah. It's like a jet ski or, fast cars. Oh, God, I've been the very consistent person here on Twitter. They let me back in. So I revised my strategy a smidge. And I even sent Cletus 2 messages. I got nothing back from Cletus. Want to hear about crazy ass Tommy? He's talking about some trans killers being related to Brian Kohlberger. Trans killers? Oh, people killing transgenders? Females? Chicks with dicks? Is that what you mean by trans? Fucking Tommy. The truly mentally ill congregate at that guy's site. He is a tragedy. That guy. He's a fucking walking, talking tragedy. And I decided to change up my MO a little bit on X. And I was going to share some of these comments. And in my replies, I decided that from now on, I was going to shame, insult, and attack in every single comment that I make on X. And I've been doing it now for about an hour. It's pretty awesome. Somebody is out there, Steve Martin, suggesting that Musk should be arrested and Trump should be impeached. And my reply to him was, Steve was never loved. Steve supports baby killing. Steve is the kind of useless cunt nobody should be. And that's received 9 likes. Then another comment from Andrew Layden. I said, dude, he's talking about all these people out there that are protesting Doge and Trump, whatever, bro. I said, dude, have you ever looked yourself in the mirror? You look like an abortion that failed and your mom never noticed. So those are just a few of the endearing comments that I've made today on my X account. And I definitely have A cult of vegan trans people started killing people and trying to relate it to Idaho 4. That's fucking awesome. And Tommy fucking Jude. Oh my God. That guy, there's, and that bubbly waters and a whole little clique of people over there that got all these fucking answers and solutions to crimes they solved on their cell phone. Unfucking believable. I think it's more interesting to listen to the shit that I've said to people. So this guy, Norm Eisen, he said, Musk is acting like he runs the government. The Constitution doesn't allow it. We're taking him to court. I said, hey, Norm, shut the fuck up. What else do I got here? Oh, a woman's complaining. She's complaining about Trump flying Air Force One around the fucking Indy 500. You know, if your mantra is extreme efficiency and cutting waste while labeling things like cancer research and veterans benefit as a waste. I said to her, you baby killers suck. Who do you think you're lecturing? And that kind of ugly you are is excusable. Oh, yeah. So a vegan transgender. I don't know what that is. Sounds like something from the prehistoric age, but Tommy is on it. Tommy Jude, the fucking jerk off of all time. Yeah, we seen it. We've seen it. You can't tell us what we didn't see. Peeing, pissing, urinating on Ethan's face. That fucking mental deficient fucking retard. Tommy Jude and his little clan of fucking quackers. Unbelievable. What the hell? I tried to listen to a little bit of Drunk Turkey today, but Drunk Turkey makes me feel like I want to just fucking... Anyway. Nah, I mean, the guy's kind of like me. It's very hard. I don't think people realize the difficulty it is to keep an autist down when it comes to relationships. We're not the easiest people to be in a relationship with. And, congratulations to Musk and his 12, 13 kids. Let him have as many kids as he wants. At least he's doing it on the up and up. He's not doing it like Jeffrey Epstein did. Raping all them fucking women. Underage kids. I want to see that list come out. Where's the Epstein fucking list? I want the list to come out with names of those people that are going to be tried in a court of law. I just don't want the general names released for the sake of that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. What's the difference? I banged multiple women again and again. I didn't produce children, thank God. But it's not as simple as people think it is. But what's going on with I want to hear more about Crazy Tommy. Tommy Jude, the mentally deficient fucking retard. I don't even, what is this thing called? Crime Circus? What's the name of his fucking stream? It's got to be something insane. I'm sure. Yeah, I get to kick all these fucking people coming out, these congressmen, these senators, forced all those people with fucking man-made COVID into fucking, they had to go into those nursing homes. Look what they did in New York State with nursing homes. And then you couldn't even be with your loved one when they're passing away. What a sick bunch of motherfuckers. And then they're going to tell me what healthcare is. Unbelievable. Oh, yeah. Power corrupts absolutely. The illusion of power does too, just so you know. The illusion of power corrupts absolutely at all. So, what do we got here? President's Day today. President's Day. Happy President's Day, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, that's today's date. I always thought President's Day should be the day after the Super Bowl. Because Super Bowl Sunday, and then you got to go to work on Monday. You see? I think they should either tweak the Super Bowl or tweak the President's Day. So that they coincide one day after another, right? Super Bowl, then the holiday. So they should either move the Super Bowl to Valentine's Day weekend, which kind of messes with Valentine's Day, or the weekend after, or the weekend before, and moving the holiday of President's Day. And I think that would be a great move, because I think Super Bowl recovery does justify, and it would allow for parades the following day in the Victorious City for people that didn't have to go to fucking work. I don't know what it was called, Carl. Could have been Washington's Day. But it's hard to have a day if your name is Washington and you've been dead for that long. Kind of like the 15 million people over 100 and fucking something years old that are still on the Social Security Administration list. Did you guys see that? Tens of millions of people, well over the age of 100, some of them up to 150. In Social Security, I don't know that means they're all getting checks. I can't even imagine how they could be getting checks. But the fact that they keep all of them people in the Social Security database is insane. When you're gone, right? And you should be removed from the list. So I'd be interested to see how many of those names are connected with a check. Big old tough guy Jim Acosta is telling the media to unite and boycott Trump until they let the AP, Associated Press, back in. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. Old Republicans. We got I can't call the blacks Uncle Tom, because Uncle Tom was a good guy. I don't know why they besmirched that term, Uncle Tom, but they certainly have over the decades, right? They start chat. How is everyone? What's up there, Ms. W? Didn't used to be called. It could have been. I don't remember. You might have been Washington's Day. It might have been birthday or something. But let's see here. Yeah, that is the one big problem they've got with the with name. Let me think. The Constitution is the guide which I will never abandon. Happy President's Day. It might have been Washington's Day. You're probably right. Look at that. Europe is now claiming they're going to send their own troops over to Ukraine. And I if I were President Trump, I'd laugh. I'd send them fucking letters of congratulations. And I'd actually go on TV and tell their soldiers, if you're stupid enough to go put yourself in the line of death for Vladimir Zelensky or whatever the fuck that little midget's name is, and the war that these people are using, man, go over there and die. While Americans sit back, we'll watch it on TV. We're going to send you free cameras. Free cameras. Fucking GoPro Pluses for your fucking helmets and your chest. We're going to send you all the fucking, so you can take all the footage of you guys being slaughtered over there, so that the Western leaders of the EU and the Americas could continue to launder money through the war in Ukraine. So yeah. Jump up and down, clap your hands, and go die for these criminal cocksuckers. Because, that's what freedom's all about, right? Unfucking believable, man. These people that are running these fucking, listen, I'm going to say to you that there's two powers that are still exist that people don't, I think people might realize it. One of them is the drug cartels and the sex cartels, right? That's one. But then they're also connected to the Nazis, which everybody thinks are gone, and they're not gone. They never were gone. And those are the ideologies that are now conquering Europe. And they almost were, they were conquering us too, in all fairness. We were being conquered by them. And thank God we got Trump in there for no other reason than to push back against that and get these fucking people out of there. You ain't going to put no fucking dude in the ring to fight my daughter if she decides to be an MMA fighter. Hell no. You're not going to be putting dudes in women's bathrooms and children's bathrooms just because they proclaim themselves to feel like a girl. Hell no. And so it's good we're pushing back on all these sick ideologies. It's good the Supreme Court finally got its head out of its ass and fixed fucking Roe v. Wade and got rid of that. Hell yeah. Unfucking real, the fucking existence we're surrounded by. And the hate from these people. I mean, honestly, to me, the only way to shut these people up is to attack and shame them. That's what you do when people are ignorant like that. You just shame and attack them. You can't do anything else. You can't engage in their topics. You can't counter their fucking points. It's your job to shame and attack these people. And that's the only way to shut up propagandists, right? They're the ones that make up the fucking idea. Unbelievable. I hope they do cancel fucking not Social Security. I misspoke. I hope they do cancel property taxes, income taxes. Those need to go. Those things are just, they're a burden on every living man, every living woman and child. And they gotta be eradicated. There's no sense in that. What else did I say? Let's see. Guess I won't be staying in any Airbnb. Billionaire co-founder of Airbnb, Joe Geba, has joined Musk's team, which is nice, right? So this guy, I don't know, he's got a decent amount of following. He's complaining about that. Here's what I said to this guy. His name is Jay Roush, DC, R-O-U-S-E, Jayrouse, DC, 18,000 followers, complaining that he'll never stay in an Airbnb anytime soon because that guy that started that thing is in agreement with Musk. So here's what I said. I said, you can't afford one. You still live at home using dirty socks to wipe up your ejaculate, you filthy Democrat. What the fuck is wrong with these people? That's what you need to do, folks. That's how we shut the left up. You just trash them. That was probably worth copying and pasting if it'll let me. Let me see here. I'm very proud of that reply. There we go. If they're going to let me do it. His reply, he's not going to stay at an Airbnb. You still live at home using dirty socks to wipe up your ejaculate, you filthy Democrat. That's Tommy's cousin right there. That's Tommy's transgender brigade. Where the fuck does he come up with something so insane like that? And then the leader of fucking Ukraine is talking about having a conversation with European leaders to discuss the global situation. I said, who the fuck are you to talk about world affairs, you murderous fucking midget? And that's, I'm just saying, no, I just take great joy in fucking calling these people out in the most demeaning way I can possibly come up with at the moment. None of these replies are planned. They're all top of the morning to you. They just come spewing out. I don't know. What the fuck? Put the dirty sock down, you filthy bastard. Yikes. So what else have we got here? President's Day, Idaho 4. Oh boy, the Idaho 4. If there was ever a case that could educate the ignorant uneducated, that would be they killed a border patrol, Zions. I'm surprised Tommy isn't fucking jumping up and down and clapping his hands. They killed a border patrol agent. He's still of the mind that this is his country because he's got some native blood in him. Fucking newsflash, ignorant Tommy. We kicked your ass with beads and whiskey, you fucking twit. You don't own shit no more. You're American. You don't want to be American? Get the fuck out and go find out where the natives live in the forest of South America, you fucking jerk off. Jesus Christ. What up there, Donald Denice? From Twitch? Yeah. Trans group is called the Zions. Surprised he isn't connecting them to the Jews. And tax, yeah, there you go. You're cold, here's a blanket, they said. That was actually an accident. There was no plan to do that. The blankets were an accident. They were in all good fairness. I think they were given out by good people trying to do a good deed. And they wiped out millions of fucking people. Maybe not millions, but that's the other thing. You know, the Cherokee were considered the good-looking tribe. The Comanches were considered the little midgets, the ugly, hateful tribes. I mean, these people were warned long before a white man showed up. And they had to do it on foot because they didn't have a horse. That's the best thing about the Indian situation in what they called the New World. They were all killing each other. fighting each other, warring with each other, capturing their women, raping their women, scalping each other. And they were doing it on foot. And then Europeans showed up with the horse. We brought the horse. And then they started riding horses and making their ability to kill one another and us even easier. And then we, by hook or crook, we kicked the living shit out of them. People don't talk about one of the greatest victories of mankind. When it comes, if you're looking strictly at a battle of a war, if you're looking at just a war, just listen. You're talking about millions and millions of people versus, I think, 560 or 500 and something Spaniards that came into the fucking South America and wiped all them fucking people out. You only had several hundred fucking Europeans that came in, and they militarily conquered the Americas down south. And that was they talk about the 300. What these guys did made what the 300 did look like a birthday party for your fucking retarded uncle. They fucking kicked the shit out of everybody with just the guy that came down there. It was a Ponce de Leon or somebody. He sunk all of his ships. He sunk all of his fucking armada and left only one out of the 11 that they took. And he sunk all the ships so there could be no retreat. And they conquered the entire fucking South American area. I mean, if you want to talk about war and strategy and they talk about Napoleon, they talk about a lot of people. They don't talk about that guy. And I think he was Ponce de Leon. Could be wrong. I have to look it up and check again. But it was unimaginable how much of an area that they conquered, man. And how many millions of people were within that area. Fucking insane, bro. But that's the way the world rolls. Somehow we've gotten away from that. We kicked the shit out of Iraq and we let them keep their own oil and everything. Well, what the fuck? If they're going to invade other people to try to capture their territory and keep it and keep their oil, why didn't we do that? Same thing with Afghanistan. Same thing now with these drug cartels. I say take all of these firefighting planes, once you got the flames under control, take all of them firefighting planes and fill them up with Roundup and send them into fucking South America. And just hit the cocoa fields and the fucking marijuana fields. That would be the war on drugs. Just eradicate their crops. But send down the nasty shit. Not that fucking weed killer that's fucking degradable in 24 hours. Send down that fucking that Roundup that clears areas of all vegetation and nothing could grow back for a year. That would really devastate the drug cartels. I'd be raining on their parade constantly from 20,000 feet. Here, motherfucker. And I mean, radicalist, as mean as that might sound, just think of all the Americans that are dead because of what those people do. And I'm not saying that they're forcing Americans to take drugs, but, for whatever reason. No, Agent Orange is nowhere near as effective as what they're, well, maybe it is. I don't know what Agent Orange is exactly, so I won't speak to that. But Roundup has it's a vegetation eliminator. And it'll keep your ground clear for a year. God only knows what's in that fucking thing. Yeah, I don't want to bring... I think using the term Roundup would be more acceptable to modern-day Americans, Carl. Who's the fat bastard that you watched, Great Pro? Who's the fat bastard that you watched? I don't know who you were watching that you called the fat bastard. You're not talking about fucking drunk turkey. There's an ignorant fucking trying to suck the dick of the media. He thinks he's going to be somebody. Unbelievable. The only person that you need to be somebody for is yourself. Yeah, it might be. But there is a Roundup that's on steroids. There's different kinds. Oh. Why? What happened to Seth Rogers? Is there any news in the Sebastian case? Yeah, there's different levels of Roundup. The shit you use residentially is nothing compared to what they can provide you. What did Seth Rogers say? Linkage! Let's see here. Where is that? That's fucking YouTube. What do we got over here on let me get in here. See what we got. Yeah, see? That's back up. We get a bunch of viewers over. What up, Xers? Xers, where's Frankie? Typing directly on X right now. If you're in X, say hello. Say fucking hello. Seth and Tony had an interview tonight. With who? Shame and bash and shame and not worth the watch. That's the summary. Well, yeah, that bastard is turned his missing son into a fucking event for himself. It's the most important thing he's ever done in his life. It's given him, he spent more time doing this than he did spend raising his kid. And he's not even looking for his kid. It's unfucking believable. I mean, that fat bastard should have lost 50, 60, 100 pounds by looking for his kid. Easy. Should have been just from stress alone that your kid's gone. You go from being a fat bastard to a skinny bastard. But he can't even do that. Is he begging for money still? I mean, you know, I don't know. He is just not. All I can say is thank God he's my father, right? And who needs that? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I want to see what the European leaders are going to do. I want to see them get their shit run right the fuck over. I'll be right back in a few. Well, you do you there, Tommy. I mean, Carl. Let's see. We have, well, we do have that. Comments, we're going to go. Queen. All right, you hurry your ass up there, Carl. So we got a lot of chaos going on here. Audit, everybody's going nuts. People being fired and terminated. If you see anybody complain from the federal government that's been fired, right? You know, you need to tell them to learn to mine coal. You're telling the miners you got to learn to code? Huh? You motherfuckers need to learn how to dig coal. That should be your job, digging coal. Fucking jerk offs. How dare they, right? So like one. This guy's Adam Schiff. Musk is trying to access your personal bank and tax data. The world's richest man should not and cannot be able to snoop around your personal finances. Period. End of story. And somebody named Chaotic Good said that Adam Schiff, that little Weasley fucking pedophile looking piece of shit, he's not trying to snoop around in my personal finances. He's trying to snoop around in yours because you get paid with taxpayer money and should be subject to these types of audits on a regular basis. There you go. That's right. Public officials should be audited on a regular fucking basis. And they shouldn't have any objection. That should be a known part of the job of running for office. Look at that. Zelensky is telling the world he will not take part in the U.S.-Russia talks this week, and he will not accept any outcome. Well, in all fairness, I think that the leaders that are causing all of this chaos, they're the ones that need to be targeted, not the soldiers. So let's see here. From 100 to 109 years old, there is 4,700,000. So when you add all of this up, it turns, I was talking about the Social Security thing. Unbelievable. 15 million people, all the way up to the age of them. There's 448 people that are apparently 190 to 199. I want to meet just one of them. Just one. Yeah, they are. They're trying to crack out all their money. They're trying to come out or spend up all of their money to do all these protests. Hell yeah, they are. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable what we're living through. 448 people between the age of 190 to 199. That's fucking awesome, man. It's like biblical times. I swear to you, just show me one of them, and I will give them the best life they've ever had. I promise to God. Every fucking penny I can scrounge and dig and can I can collect, and every bit of the money I'm worth, everything, I'll give it all to them and just simply walk away. If somebody could bring me one person between the age of 190 to 199, they can have all I'm worth, and I'll continue to go out there, and anything I make or earn will be given to them. I mean, I have a big heart, let me tell you. Unbelievable. What a crazy world, man. Anyway, I was hoping to get Cletus out here to get an update on some of that Sebastian shit, but I don't even got that. I can't even get him to text me back, that some bitch. I think I'm going to take his name, Cletus, make him use his real name. I made him famous with that name, Cletus. And God only knows. Yeah, look at the border czars asking to have Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez investigated because she's been given help. She's been given tips how migrants can avoid ICE. And you cannot aid and abet. Look at that. The fucking the I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's the leader of Britain or not. I'm gonna have to Google his name. His name is Keir Starmer, who has served as Prime Minister of the Kingdom since 20. So this guy is saying he's prepared to put British troops on the ground in the Ukraine, and I say, awesome. That's what I mean. Let's all start a fund to donate cameras to these fucking British soldiers, so that they can create a new reality show for us, right? How not to live a long life. Follow your leaders. Good time. Yeah, I did. I made Cletus. He's AWOL, Van. You're over there cooking some fucked up food with asparagus and he's gone. I don't know what's going on there, Van. We live in a very trying time. It's very hard to understand. I'm overwhelmed. I need the assistance of AI, you know, for fuck's sakes. Yikes. Unbelievable. What do we got here? So Ken Starmer, another guy that just has got one of them puckered fucking faces that makes him, you know, those guys. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but some people have got the puckered face that makes it look like they've been fucking kissing asshole their whole life. It's fucking nasty. And you could just look at the people just by their faces, how their faces and mouths and the fucking ring around their mouth and chin and nose. It's like, quit fucking sucking asshole and do your job. You feces loving motherfuckers. Ugh. That's nasty to me. How the fucking anybody do that? But there's a lot of you nasty bastards out there. Present company may or may not be included. I don't want to know. But you can usually tell who the fucking ass suckers are by their face. It's fucking nasty. It's a mad world nowadays. It's just disgusting. Chicken fried steak, mashed taters, and broccoli. Chicken fried steak. Chicken and steak shouldn't be used in the same sentence. I don't know where you came from, Van. But steak is steak and chicken is chicken. I see, even Gray Pearl gets it. You see, I agree, Gray Pearl. That's like that's a conundrum right there. You know, have one or the other. I don't get it. You know, you're either eating chicken or eating steak. You're eating steak, eat steak. Eat a good cut of steak, best cut of steak, the most preferable cut of steak to you. Or chicken. There aren't many options with chicken. It's breast, it's thighs, it's legs, it's wings, right? You know. I'm here. Yeah, some Bob Evans shit that pretends to be down on the farm. The only thing going down on your farm is Bob Evans's kids. They're going down on the farm. Don't know who Bob Evans. You know, I want them to bring Aunt Jemima back. I want the syrup Aunt Jemima brought back. I literally can't even fucking. It disgusts me that there's no Aunt Jemima syrup. The bottle was beautiful. The whole bottle was awesome. The Aunt Jemima bottle with Aunt Jemima shaped into. And they got rid of it to be politically correct. And that family was collecting royalties off of that. I mean, it wasn't like it was making fun of nobody. But Aunt Jemima syrup was a big part of my life. I want to bring that shit back. Are you kidding me? The fucking bullshit. These fucking fucking ignorant cocksuckers probably want Uncle fucking Tom syrup. I don't know what the fuck they want, but I want Aunt Jemima syrup brought back. I think we should all go on the fucking rampage and start demanding they bring back Aunt Jemima syrup in restaurants and hotels, fucking coffee shops, the fucking waffle shops, the pancake shops, the fucking steaks, everywhere. I want Aunt Jemima back, and I want the royalty being given back to that family. Uncle Ben, I don't know. I think they got stuck on the name Ben. They don't know if there was a black guy or a white guy, so they probably snuck through. Right? It's a multiracial name, apparently, but I don't know any black dude named Ben. I don't get that. Uncle Ben, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't about a black guy. Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. Nothing wrong with cowboy. Reverse cowboy is kind of awesome, too. You know, for those times where you just don't want to look her in the eye. Had a rough day. You know what I'm saying? She burnt dinner. Unfucking believable. There are points and times for reverse cowgirl. I'm sorry. Yeah. What the hell, honey, man? Why are you always picking on me? But yeah, I say let's scream and yell. We need to stomp and dance in the streets. We want Aunt Jemima back. We want that family reinstated. We want whatever royalties that they haven't gotten being given to them by whoever made that fucking syrup. Who are you people to deny us our Aunt Jemima? I grew up with that fucking thing. What about that fucking Quaker motherfucker on the oat? That's why I wouldn't eat the oats. I couldn't eat Quaker oats. First of all, when I saw the person on the fucking container, I was like, hell no. I wouldn't ask that. If that guy asked me to cross the street, I'd yell fucking police. That was my first turn off to Quaker oats. But first, the biggest was the cocksucker on the fucking container. Remember? Aunt Jemima was she seemed like a loving fucking neighbor, someone you'd want to hang out with. She'd be the one giving you good advice, correcting you when you're wrong, cracking you in the back of the head when you need it. But that fucking Quaker dude, hell no. You got to get that bitch away from me. Unbelievable. Aunt Jemima or the Quaker dude? I'll take Aunt Jemima every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But that Quaker dude, then you got to eat that shit. The only way oatmeal is good is when you surround it with cinnamon and sugar. And then you might as well get rid of the oatmeal and just eat the cinnamon and sugar. It's the most decrepit fucking food I'd ever seen, like grits. Who the fuck convinced people grits is something good? You got to be low down and fucked up to enjoy grits. There's nothing to grits unless you put something in them. And then if you put something in them, you realize you don't need the grits. That's where I'm coming from with oatmeal, like an oatmeal cookie. You can't make a fucking cookie out of oatmeal. What in the fuck is going on with this world? These are just some bad ideas we've lived. We got to stand up against them, folks. Like those Tommy Judes of the world. You got to just stand for something. And I'm saying, let's stand up for Aunt Jemima. She deserves it. She, you know, like Coca-Cola. Put the fucking Coke back in that motherfucker. I mean, come on. That's the whole point of it. Yeah, but raisins don't fix the fucked up of oatmeal. I like grits with butter and salt. See, that's just crazy shit. I mean, come on. I'm sure you've had worse things in your mouth, but to think grits have any taste whatsoever that really does anything for the palate? Unbelievable. Oh, man, you guys are out of it. Grits and oatmeal. Man, give me some home fries and bacon. You know what I mean? Give me the Idaho Spud. Speaking of which, does anybody listen to 12 Gauge? Mr. Potato Head. How's he doing? I love a guy. He's got like 7,300 or something fucking members, but he only gets 10 or 12 viewers. I don't get it. The numbers don't math. The math don't math. The numbers don't math. And I don't know. Poor 12 Gauger, as I lovingly call him, Mr. Taterhead. I'm done with being bad. Look, I'm just saying. There's some things that just shouldn't be part of the American fucking tradition. Grits and oatmeal. Get rid of them fucking things. He is a very nice guy. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not a nice guy. He is a very nice guy. So is Dago a very nice guy. A lot of nice people out there. No, not really a lot, but there's some, yeah. Yeah, I don't understand how you can have that many followers and so few views. I mean, but you know, what do I know? The math don't math, the world don't math, the math don't math, the world, the fucking science doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot of things that don't math. Don't join line. It probably pays for Indian subs. I don't even know how you would do that. Why would you pay for any subscribers? But anyway, that Frank screams Annie Goldberger. Heard it from an unknown source. That Frank, who's Frank? Is Frank that drunk guy? I think Frank is that drunk guy that used to get up online and get drunk and get all fucking belligerent. He looked like he was a fun. Can you imagine, ladies? That's in your fucking dreams. There you go. There's the guy. Put him right up there on the wall of fucking what you may find in the modern world. There's a guy mad at the air he breathes. Give him a few drinks. Wow. Yeah, I know who that little Frankie is. Yeah, if you can keep him sober, he's not. You know, you can get by with him, but you know, I don't know. Right? Literally, yeah, he is an alcoholic, fucked up kind of guy. And hey, there's nothing wrong with being an alcoholic, as far as I'm concerned. But I do want to ask. I'm drinking apple juice. I do want to ask a very important question. And I can't even give you multiple choice answers. You're going to have to answer this for yourself. But why do you suspect so many people turn to different things to escape from the reality that they live in? Like gambling or whoring, like, you know, I guess I could be accused of that. Or drugging or alcoholism, or why do you suppose? I don't even know what that is, Heather. A Celsius? What is that? A temperature? A thermometer? What is it? Is it a European way to say it's 28 degrees out? What is that? Yeah, how is it that what is the deal? Why are so many of us trying to escape reality? I think that's an excellent question. Video games, right? It's like, well, red wine, UB40. Huh. People are flawed and easily manipulated. Well, that goes for all of us, right? An energy drink. Man, between fucking drugs and fucking liquids, they got something for everything nowadays. Now they want you to give yourself injections to lose weight. When all you got to do to lose weight, literally, stop eating all that bread. And for people that are heavy that say they don't eat bread, you're a lying motherfucker. Cut it out, man. Just cut it. Put the fucking bread down. Yeah, liberals have destroyed normalcy, but can I just say that's nothing new, Carl? There's just more people now than there were 100. I wasn't around 100 or 200 years ago. Eat less, move more. That's a good one. ELMM, new weight loss program. Coined right here live on Your Ass Hurts News Network. ELMM. Eat less, move more. Yep. Bread is evil. So is soda pop. But what drives them to it? Bad moral? Nobody knows. You know? Huh? Imagine if any of this is accurate. Just imagine, because I'm fucked up and I admit it. And I'm not really ashamed of it. I enjoy the kind of fucked up that I am. I'm the kind of fucked up that finds it funny that when you fart in a grocery store, everybody flees. I find that to be one of the most hilarious things I've ever experienced in my life. People literally back off like something dangerous is going to happen to them. Nonetheless, so my kind of fucked up is mac and cheese. You probably made it homemade mac and cheese. That I use Velveeta cheese, I hope. Right? I hope you use Velveeta cheese. I could see the need for bread back in the day when all of this red meat and all of these, different options weren't available. Maybe when you were wandering the desert for 40 years and 40 whatever. I don't believe that at all. Wandering the fucking desert for 40 years. Yeah, okay. No wonder my fucking balls itch. All that sand. These people are crazy, man. I find most of the contents of the world's religions to be fucking insane. And even worse, I find all the counter arguments and the culture within the fucking secular fucking groups of people to be fucking insane. Oh. Yeah, see, yeah, my boss, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. In that situation, I'd have said, excuse me, you're my employer, you ass stain. Go to the bathroom and fart and come back. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I've even when my relationships were going bad, I think only once in I never fucked another girl while I was dating a girl. I've never done that. So to avoid being called a cheater, I don't seriously date a single woman. And I don't hide that. I mean, I'm just not that kind of guy. And I let women know up front, I'm not that keeper you think I might be. I'm more one of those sporadic guys that'll do things on short notice and make it fun. Let's see here. Boss, sounds like you need to get off my desk and go take a crap. Yeah, I would have said to him and say, I've kept it to myself, but working here is a load of crap, and now you're fucking trying to spread it on me, something like that. I don't know, but farting can be funny, and I don't even know why. But it's in an area of where there's people, it clears them. It clears them rather quickly. No, why would there's no time to explain? You just got to get on with it. I blame it on the women I'm with often. I'll let one rip and just say, "Damn, why would you do that?" And oh man, some women take it well. They laugh. They think it's funny. They take credit for the fart. They don't mind. Other women get completely fucking infuriated by it. They're so worried about what other people think about them or what they potentially might think. It's just too funny. I would rather have the hooker that walked by than a piece of shit like you. Oh my God. There you go. That's a good one there, Victor. Why the hell not? That's a good one. People ought to write that one down. Oh my God. After sitting on her desk and doing that, he probably took off the rest of the afternoon telling HR he had stomach cramps. Then went golfing. Better to fart and waste it than burp and taste it. That's what I say. Jesus. But that's a conundrum. When you let one go in a car and you tell everyone don't breathe through your mouth, you'll be tasting it. And then nobody knows what the fuck to do. Oh. Oh well. When Aunt Jemima syrup was being changed on the bottle. Yeah, it may be, but by the time it's worth a lot of money, it'll probably be your great grandchildren, right? That's just tragic. They got rid of the Aunt Jemima bottle. That fucking shit was crazy. We all liked Aunt Jemima. How about the Indian on the butter thing, where you used to be able to use her knees to make her look like she had double D titties? Do you guys remember that? Is that lady still on the butter? What's the name of that butter? Land O'Lakes. I prefer the conversation when Cletus is on. I know Cletus is just not here today. And I'm just off in the weeds. I got no direction. I got nothing to do, nothing to say. I take the winters off. I just burn up time. I read a lot. What am I supposed to do on here? I don't know. I'm tired of talking about the Idaho 4. You're not going to change an idiot's mind. An idiot's going to be an idiot. And when the idiot realizes that their thoughts were idiotic, it doesn't register as a thought that, oh, maybe I should change the way I view things. No, the idiot just continues on being an idiot and does never acknowledge nor do anything about being an idiot. That's the worst part of fucking hanging around with people that are idiots. Right? Unbelievable. It's fucking crazy. So what do you say about the Idaho 4? I don't know why everybody's not besides themselves. They took a sample that was barely viable. This is the best part about the Idaho 4 and the DNA. They couldn't, for whatever reason, get a identification from the blood, other than to know it was unidentified men. Okay, different men. Pardon me. But they could take a microscopic skin cell and magnify the shit out of it to the point where the data they sent the FBI was twice as large as the data they were originally given. Now, that guy get a clue or fucking Murphy's fucking barking dog that he's turned himself into. Wants to get into all the details, just a text file. Well, I don't give a fuck if it's a text file or if it's a fucking test tube full of fucking saliva. I don't care what it is. They doubled whatever they had. They amplified the sample. And I've argued from the beginning that that's tampering with the evidence. That shouldn't be acceptable. Right? Nothing with that DNA should be acceptable. At all. Zero. It's absolutely insane. And the fact is they got the car wrong. They got the locations of the car wrong. They got the times of the crime apparently wrong. They got the witness statements wrong. The witness statement that's exculpatory they ignored. And they didn't find the knife sheath or the footprint till the second pass through. And I mean, how many more fucking mistakes do you got to make before somebody says these people are ignorant? Not to mention that they're in windbreakers. Okay, some of them with fucking cloth masks and paper fucking garbage masks on their face. Some of them not. And then after all of these people go through the house, you start seeing people in white suits go through the house. Well, where were those hazmat suits upon the original collection of evidence? I mean, everything they did was backwards, fucked up, and ignorant. And their conclusions were completely fucking manipulated to make a picture. They painted the story about that kid. And here this kid's in jail now for over 2 years. Unfucking believable. Yeah, Heather, every fucking thing is insane. Everything that doesn't matter now was a lot of it was already known. A lot of it was already known. What law school did you go to? I actually practiced law independently as somebody that never went to law school, if you want to know the truth. Somebody that actually went to a law library. Somebody that actually looked for case law and used the case law and a fucking motion to get my charges dismissed 3 fucking times. Victor. Oh, Victor. The law isn't some fucking mystical fucking game of fucking wizardry. It's a bunch of fucking words that have a definition. And gee, you actually can read them and define them. And if you don't know what the fuck they are, you highlight and you say, search on Google, and it will define the word. The law, I love how people think the law is such a complex fucking thing. It isn't. It isn't. The law is as easy as fucking putting together a swing set in your backyard. That's the problem. We've all been fucking conned and hustled to think things that aren't real. Ain't no one telling me the law is complex, especially when it comes to criminal fucking law. Absolutely not. Unbelievable. What a fucking world we live in. Tell me that fucking horse shit. You write a PCA, a fucking... he could have turned his phone off. It could have been an airplane mode. It could have disconnected from the network. Well, listen, Mr. Jerk-off policeman. Which one of those is it? Because 2 of the 3 that you're suggesting aren't a crime at all. And factually, turning off my fucking phone is my right as an American citizen. There's no crime in turning off my phone. How about the fact you didn't read the accuracy of the fucking information that you got? How about the fact that the video that you are arguing shows Koberger shows nothing at all? How about the fact the cops are admitting that in the courtroom? What the fuck are you paying attention to? I get a junior law school badge. Yeah, okay. That's more of a law school badge than you'll ever have, you fucking twit. Unbelievable, Victor. Why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. Weren't you loved as a child? Didn't you learn to love yourself? That's what I had to do. I learned to love myself. Well, there's nobody that said he was looking at the moon and stars. That's the other thing. That's a false statement too by these fucking people out there. I mean, it's just insane. You just look at the accusations and they're all wrong. You have Officer Payne and all of the video footage that you collected. Does any of it show Brian Kohlberger and Brian Kohlberger's car? No, ma'am. Listen, if I were Brian Kohlberger, I would have jumped up from that fucking table and slapped that fucking Payne into oblivion. I'd have slapped that motherfucker so much my fingers would have flown off. What the fuck did you put me in jail for then, you fucking cocksucker? None of your video shows me or my car. None of it can be related or identified to me. But you wrote a whole fucking document to tell a judge that was me, you motherfucker? Man, I would haunt that motherfucker to the end of time. How dare he? How dare any police officer do that to anybody? Fuck this particular crime. Look at it in the context of fucking police behavior. Who the fuck does that cop think he is? Because, we found transfer DNA on a knife sheath. Okay. Now, don't lie. Don't invent the fucking story. Don't do that. Connect the DNA to Brian Kohlberger's presence at the crime scene. And if you can't, move on to another suspect. That's how the law is supposed to be executed. But no, these motherfuckers couldn't do that. The car you don't even know that there was a car involved. And do you know why Brian Kohlberger's car had no DNA in it? Because it wasn't at the crime scene. It wasn't used to commit a crime. How the fuck else do you find a car completely cleaned out like that? Unbelievable. You don't like hate. Listen, you're one of those fucking idiots that probably thrive on hate and come out and talk about, I'm above all of that. Look, you probably have more hate than all of us. And I don't particularly hate anybody, but the fucking disgust that I have for what some of these cops have done is unfucking imaginable. I love when they arrested me falsely, twice. And they paid me both times. Unfucking believable, man. You can't make up a fucking story. And you can't, as a cop, take a bunch of fucking word salad and make a conclusion. Like they did here. That's not your fucking job as a policeman. Your job is to collect the information, and then it's somebody else's job to put that into daisy chain it into a story that's factual. Not argue that Brian Kohlberger was somewhere when he wasn't. Not ignore the fact that his 12 previous fucking trips to that town never had him near that house. And you fucking knew it. You motherfucking cops knew that those 12 previous trips placed Kohlberger nowhere near the home. You knew it. And yet in the PCA, you wrote it up to make it look like he was stalking those kids. That in and of itself, should be all Americans need to know about how fucked up your law enforcement is. And how this guy, whether he killed those people or not, how this guy needs to be released from fucking jail. Because our people can't get the thing right. It's fucking incredible to me that you could mislead a magistrate under the concept of a stalker when you knew the data in front of you proved that not to be correct. Unfucking believable. And American citizens sit back and argue, he did it, he's guilty. How do you explain the DNA? Listen, you stupid cocksucker. Nobody need to explain the DNA. You don't even get to ask that question anymore. You know why you don't get to ask that question? Because the blood fucking samples, which contain DNA, were never fucking investigated. If they can pick and choose whose DNA they're going to fucking investigate, go fuck yourself. The whole case needs to get thrown out. Who the fuck do these cops think they are? Who the fuck does that fucking Bill Thompson think he is? That crack smoking fucking Santa Claus looking piece of shit? Who is he to decide that he's judge, jury, and executioner? I can't fucking believe it. I can't fucking believe Americans aren't all flipping out. I don't give a fuck if this kid did the crime or not. And the families Imagine how fucking sheltered these families got to be not to see the same things we're seeing. Who the fuck are you to tell me this kid stalked my kid and he didn't? No, Brian Kohlberger was getting a degree in fucking forensics. That's what his degree was. His and for IT, what the fuck did they? Cloud forensics. Brian Kohlberger was not getting the degree in blood collection and DNA sampling and DNA test. That's not what he was doing, man. Well, you're a man. Victor, you're not even a man. You're just some fucking name on the internet, right? At least I show my face. At least I use my name. Go over on fucking Twitter. I'm Bruno Pellicano. Go ahead. You want to be a man? Be a fucking man. Right? Fucking twits. You should be incensed at what the police did in this case, because if this guy is the killer, okay, then you're not going to convict him. DNA alone isn't evidence of committing a crime. It's circumstantial evidence. Unless you got DNA all over that house that belonged to one person, then you got nothing. And when I mean all over the house, I mean on the sliding glass door, on the railing going upstairs, on the fucking victims, on the victims' doorknobs, on the victims' doors, on the fucking bed. Then DNA can be used. But when you have one single source of fucking DNA, it can't tell you when it was put there, how it got there, when it got there, and if it was even involved in the crime. One source of DNA is not a conviction. They know that. They know that. The police know that. And so what did they do? They took the only name that they could come up with. They ran his phone data, and then they ran the video. And because the kid happens to own an Elantra, that's all they looked for were Elantras. No. Translucent, no. There were 4 single source male DNAs found at the scene. They only identified one. And I know why they did that. I want to be clear. It's because it was attached to what they perceived to be the murder weapon. That gave them permission to use IgG. For many of you screamers out there that don't get it, that's why the knife sheath DNA became important. But the fact of the matter is that once they had done that, and once they had looked at the crime scene, I think that they should have also then continued on with the IgG with fucking warrants from a fucking judge. Okay, that's what should have happened here. Even the Kohlberger DNA, when they decided to amplify it, there should have been the judge should have been explained what they were doing. That's why Ann keeps saying they needed warrants to do that. And Judge Hippler, like the prosecutor, like Victor, okay, that think they know law, are a bunch of fucking jerk-offs. Once you collect the DNA sample and you run it through CODIS and you get no hits, if you're going to run it to any other fucking system, you need the court to know. You need to apply for a warrant for that to take place. And then when you amplify and what we call alter the evidence, okay? I have worked my entire life. Well, I don't know what kind of work you did your whole life, Victor, but clearly it had nothing to do with fucking thinking. You must have worked an assembly line and put screws into the same place for the same fucking part for your whole life. Right? Come on, tell us that's what you did. You didn't read on break. You didn't take a book to when you took a shit. You just fucking put a screw in some fucking product your whole life. You fucking twit. Unfucking believable. Literally. It makes no fucking sense that the police did all of this stuff right out in the open. Now everybody's seeing it. Now the cops are testifying. They're under oath. And you're finding out they didn't do a full cast report. This guy did it. What they brought to the grand jury, that should have crushed the grand jury. How the fuck the judge didn't squash it at the grand jury is amazing to me. After Ann went to the grand jury to get it squashed. And I bet you right now that all the info she has, she didn't have when they went to the grand jury to argue the case be thrown away. Okay? Guarantee it. She's finding out stuff. She said she found out 3 new things in the last court hearings that she didn't know prior to the court hearings. I mean, that's fucking bullshit. This is 2 years later. It's fucking amazing. cloud-based forensic. That is digital and psychological. That's the reason. This kid was no fucking... Everybody that thinks this guy was some kind of fucking genius in DNA and all of that, you're idiots. Nothing is not only about correct. The only fucking information that kid was focused on was digital information. What to look for, keywords, searches, things on how to find stolen and hidden money or illegal transactions. And this kid had nothing to do with murder scenes. And well, he had an interest in somebody's fucking murderers. Well, all of you every one of you motherfuckers that come out here have an interest in murders. And it only is a problem because Brian Kohlberger had this interest. What the fuck kind of brain dead, ignorant motherfuckers are out here? This kid didn't commit any crimes his whole life. And he's on a fucking, the cop is saying that criminals tend to turn off their phone to mask their location from law enforcement. Well, Brian Kohlberger isn't a criminal, you sick motherfucker. How can you allow a policeman to equate a man that's getting a PhD, okay, that's never committed any crimes? How can you equate his behavior to a criminal? Who the fuck are you, judge, jury, and executioner? Man, I'm telling you, these fucking police, they need to be completely retrained across the fucking country with no holds barred. Unbelievable. I know a bad guy when I hear or see it. Yeah, Victor, your fucking intuition's the kind of intuition the whole world's been running off from. You arrogant, ignorant fucks that have read no books, studied no science, and understand only what the fuck limited fucking retard information that you're going to regurgitate. You don't think. You don't think. You hear what you're being told, and you accept that as the truth, and now you'll fight for it. You don't fucking question it. What a fucking idiot. And here you got to think, bro. You got to be able to think. You got to be able to take something and say it's reasonable. You don't hear me arguing for his innocence. I have no fucking argument that Kohlberger is innocent, nor do I have any fucking argument that he's guilty. That's what makes you an idiot, bro. I'm not arguing for either. Nobody should. The only part that you're supposed to pay attention to is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. That's it. That's the whole reason you have freedom of speech. That's the whole reason that you're supposed to have transparency in government, is that they're to prove that what they're doing is the right thing. You shouldn't have to question it. It should be in the proof. And if it doesn't show up in the proof, then they're lying to you. That's not that hard to understand. Right? Count the fucking cookies in the jar and go to bed. And when you wake up, if there's less cookies, your fucking kid ate the cookies. Huh. There you go. It's that fucking simple. Unfucking believable. You can't fabricate a fucking story because you think that the sample you have that identified Brian Kohlberger, which I guarantee you, it probably identified 10 to 50,000 people probably were identified from that DNA sample because they had no name. It's amazing that people don't understand DNA, and I know just enough to let you know that a completely unknown sample is almost impossible to decipher. You need a fucking name to take a particular direction with the DNA. So to be fair to the police, if they had 100 suspects, then they would have had 100 fucking names to try to give to the DNA sample that they collected. You see? But now you have to examine those 100 people's family. You have to start building family trees for 100 or how many ever fucking people you want to accuse of that crime. Unfucking believable, man. Yeah, Jeff H. is one of those fucking fake religious pieces of shit that comes off as if he's a nice guy, and he isn't. He's the most annoying cocksucker on the internet. And that's just obvious. People that don't see that are just blind. Oh, he's so nice. No, he's an idiot. He acts like he's paying attention. He acts like he's thinking along with you, but he's not. And he's going to regurgitate the same things over and over and over again. It's fucking insane, that guy. You can't take an unknown sample and match it up in just a few days. It's not possible. You can't make accusations in an arrest document that are false, verifiably false, and submit that to a court for an arrest warrant for 4 fucking homicides. That's a fucking problem. That's why Anna's asking for all this evidence to be destroyed, thrown away. You lied. And then Bill, and that fucking crack of claws, you fucking fat pig, Bill fucking Thompson. We're not going to use the PCA in court. It's not relevant. It is relevant, you motherfucker. That's what you used to arrest this kid. You can't kick every door in on the street until you find a crime. You fucking fat piece of shit. Yeah, I get fucking passionate about it. I can't stand these fucking people in law enforcement, like that fucking Detective John, that fucking nice guy 12 Gauge is fucking boyfriends with. That ignorant cocksucker that calls himself a retired cop that made the statement, I say, hey, so if you're investigating a massive crime and one of your guys make a mistake, what do you do? It depends on how big the mistake is. And that tells you all you need to know about how law enforcement has been mistrained. It's not his fucking job to determine the level of the mistake. It's the fucking chief of police. It's the fucking shift commander. It's the lieutenant. It's the fucking people above you. It's the district attorney. That's who decides whether the mistake made by your fellow officer is important or not. Not you, the fucking beat cop. Unbelievable, man. Unfucking believable. And I don't even want to get into who did the crime. That doesn't matter to me at all. These 4 kids are gone. Listen, I'm sorry, but that isn't a fucking problem in my fucking, that is not a fucking problem that's within my eyesight. I'm an American citizen. I mean, horrifically, these people lost their children. That's their issue, not mine. Let me be clear. That is not my issue. My issue is with the government actions against the accused. And if what they're accused of makes sense, if what they're accusing the guy of is because the evidence says that it can only be this guy, I'm perfectly fucking happy with that. But their evidence needs to be unimpeachable. I'm sorry. It can't be a fucking a connect the dot fucking puzzle. Yeah, I don't pay attention to who could have done it. Musical. I won't go there. And I don't care what people think. I don't give a fuck who did it. That's it's not within my fucking window of observation. That's just not my fucking concern. They're gone. Okay? I want who did it caught. But there's no way I'm going to decipher that. There's no way any jerk off on the internet's going to figure it out. From the paparazzis to all the other jerk offs out there. Unfucking believable. They're not going to solve that fucking crime. What really is look at, if somebody falls down at your feet gasping for air, then you can affect some kind of fucking thing to help that person. You could be of fucking value in that situation, right? But you can't be thousands of miles away looking at something on a cell phone and be of any help to that situation directly. You just can't. However, what you are able to do with the fucking amazing fucking technology we have is see in fact what evidence is being collected, how it was collected, who collected, under what processes were used. Is the evidence 1 and 1 equals 2? Is the evidence solid? Does that evidence connect to another fucking stream of information? Do all of these dots connect and complete the circle that Mr. Kohlberger committed the crime? That's how this works, folks. You can be a part of that circle. You can be a part of the evidence understanding and the collections and how it was handled and how it was moved. What does it mean? What does it mean? But for the cops to tell you a fucking story that it means this and only this, and then you realize when cops are asked simple questions like, and they you know, when cops put in a fucking warrant to arrest me, that I was stalking without saying I was stalking, right? For me to suggest that Victor was in that drug house during the time of a drug transaction, okay, as they did with Brian Kohlberger, and realized that Victor had never been in that fucking house and never ever did drugs. That's the ignorance that Victor and people like Victor suffer from. They don't put themselves in the shoe of the accused. You can't do that and bring it to a judge accusing Victor of committing a fucking crime and then arrest him and stick him in fucking jail. The document has to be factually supported for everybody to see. I got 3 witnesses. I got images and recordings. That's fine. I accept that. I won't argue when the police come forward with actual evidence that's verifiable. But to infer and actually directly state in a roundabout way that this kid was stalking them, because that's consistent with somebody that's trying to set up a future crime, and you knew the whole time that none of the information you had placed Koberger at that house. And as Ann Taylor pointed out, not only did it not point him at the house, it never showed his car coming to a halt or coming to a halt at all or anywhere near the home. Yet why would you include those 12 trips in your fucking warrant? If the DNA was enough to incarcerate this kid, that's what you guilters have to figure the fuck out, you ignorant motherfuckers. If the DNA was all they needed, why the story? Why? Fuck the fucking story, right? I got DNA, lock him up, kill him, shoot him. I mean, that's what you people have reduced the law to be. It's fucking insane. Jury pick people be key to this case. Jury pick people be key to this case. I don't know what that means. It's just shocking to me that people have become so fucking empty-headed. Why do you think Trump won all of those cases? I mean, because you need evidence. And the evidence needs to be unquestionable, beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Karen Reed should never have been convicted. Or she wasn't convicted. That case should never have been hung. I listened to that juror. And the juror, there were key points. And let me tell you the key point. I'm going to say this. Maybe you guys should cut this out and share it with some of these other streamers. The reason, and I disagree with something Lana said. And it was about the view this guy had on some piece of evidence. And she couldn't get over it. But she was actually wrong in her observation of what that evidence meant to that guy. But let me just say this and I'll jump back to the Idaho 4. On the Reed case, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. When they show that car, hours after the crime, leaving somewhere, and there was no massive white light shining out the back of that vehicle on the passenger side, which should have been if a big fucking honking piece of the red taillight lens had broken off. He should have shown that to the jurors in his closing argument. He should have said, yes, the inverted images of the police inside the fucking garage were inverted because they did not want you to see all of them men at that taillight. Because they broke the taillight. They collected the taillight from the vehicle at that garage. And that can be concluded because, 1, they're using it as evidence, and 2, this video of her vehicle driving at 4 or 5 in the morning, the taillight is not shooting a white light out of it. And then he should have held up the taillight and actually turned the fucking thing on. Can the court please lower the lights? And then took that same fucking taillight and hooked it up to a car battery and shown the whole room this massive white beam of light coming out of that broken taillight lens. If he would have done that, they would have acquitted her on all charges. All of them would have been thrown out. That case could have been won in the closing arguments of that lawyer. And it wasn't done that way. That's why they considered manslaughter. That's why they gave a consideration to that red lens. Because the context under which the red lens was set in the mind that it was part of the crime scene. And you had to show that not only could it not be there, but that in fact the inverted video of the state trooper garage was inverted to hide the presence of the people that broke it. Okay? And you should have came right out and said that. And then you should have given them a demonstration of the taillight. And that would have been the end of that case. Victor, there's Sergeant's fucking law degree. There you go. He ain't gonna fuck. Listen, old Sarge puts his mind to something. I don't give a fuck who you are or what the task is. I will solve it. I will cut, and even if it's unfavorable to me, that's still a solution. I don't look to get my way. I look to find the truth. And if the truth is the truth will set you free. You can't tell me after living 30 years of being honest. That's the only thing you need to learn about recovering from any addiction. Just be honest to yourself. Be honest in all things, And that life becomes very easy. For people to suggest that you can't live your life honestly, show you just how ignorant people are. That's the funny thing I find. That's why they call the road straight and narrow. Okay? Because being honest is not that difficult. Being honest is, I've been open about myself in all different kinds of ways. Everything, pretty much. I have I'm not ashamed. I had experiences in life. I made choices, both good and bad. The earlier part of my life, most of them were bad. I learned from them. And being honest is the simplest fucking thing you could possibly do. Right? That doesn't mean when your child is 6 years old asks about sex, you tell them what sex is. Tell them that's a great topic. That's a conversation that you and I are going to have. Sex is something that's done between adults, and it's something that a 6-year-old, listen, we need to really start thinking about other things. Let's start talking about space and the unknown and, different things. What do you want for Christmas? What do you want to do? Who do you want? Talk about everything. Address the topic, but you don't have to cough up the fucking beans. That's the best thing about honesty. There's a time and a place to be honest. And when you're honest with yourself, you use honesty the same way. You don't lie. But sometimes things are better left unsaid. That's the honest truth. And so some things go left unsaid. Yeah, see, I think the problem isn't whether he did it or not. And I wish more people would see it that way. That's not really the purview. That's really not the place that you should be viewing this case from. It should not be innocence or guilt. It should be based on proof. And the proof will then give you the answer. If everything the police said, if they had a clear shot of his vehicle, if they had a clear shot of it parking, if they had video to support the crime took place and then someone jumped back in that car, and they had audio to show all of this, and they could build the case that way, that'd be awesome. But the problem is they can't, because there's no way to do it, because it didn't happen that way. We have 4 dead people. Okay? And the way they describe the crime, it's impossible to happen that way. They themselves have admitted it. So now what are you left with? You're left with a clusterfuck. You're left with an unknown. You're left with this guy sitting in prison or jail, right? Your story doesn't hold up. You got a different story? Because at this point, you've given all your discovery to the defense. We got 68 terabytes of data. And not one bit of that fucking shit, not one motherfucking bit of it, can place Brian Koberger at that house. Factually, the only thing your evidence can do, of all of your 68 fucking jerk me off terabytes can do, is place Brian everywhere except the house. Like I said, day one in February 2023, when I first came around you true crime fucking twits, that the fucking cops are the exculpatory information Brian Koberger will use to get exonerated. Their information will exonerate him. Listen, I want one piece of discovery that anybody has seen, whether you're pro-guilt or anti-guilt. I want one piece of evidence. Forget the DNA. One piece of evidence that places Brian Koberger even on Linda Lane, King Road, or Queen Road. Can somebody produce one piece of evidence that makes that shows that? Between the hours of 4 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. I'll even expand the fucking timeline as the cops have been doing the whole time. Is there any evidence that places Kohlberger at that crime? 4 a.m. to 4:30. Does anybody have an answer to that? 4 a.m. to 4:30 is anything that the fucking Department of Police, the state troopers, and the FBI does anything that they've come forward with, place him at the scene of the crime. They did not find blood on his sheath, on that sheath. They did not find blood on the sheath. They did not find blood on the sheath. But let's stop right there, because this is what let's go with that. Okay. How does that place him there between 4 and 4:30? First of all, it wasn't blood. It was transfer DNA, skin cells, dead skin cells. The most microscopic part of DNA that you can have. But let's just go with that. So let's go with this particular fucked up view. They found blood. Okay. Why is his blood any more important than the blood on the railing and the blood on the glove outside in the back there? What makes Brian Kohlberger's blood the only blood worth looking at? Hunter Cruz. Come on. I posted you up there. Support your argument that places Brian there between 4 and 4:30. That's the problem, Hunter. All of you fucking people trying to figure out who did it are the problem. That ain't your fucking job. Our job online, the police's job, is different. Your job is to look at the evidence that they've given you. Does the evidence support the accusations against Mr. Kohlberger? I don't give a fuck if he did it or not. That's not for you to determine. All you're allowed to do is examine the proof that's been put forward to the public. Where in that fucking mountain of 68 terabytes do we show Brian Kohlberger in that home? Where? During that time. Because blood or transfer DNA is a fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? It's circumstantial evidence. I'm going to explain that to the people out here, not all of you, because most of you are regulars, but to some of the newer people that are in here. Let me explain to you what circumstantial evidence is. Your neighbor gets their head blown off in a fucking home invasion, and the gun that's found in that home invasion belongs to me. I own that gun. That gun was found at the scene of the crime where it was used to murder an old lady and steal her money. Convict me. Go ahead, try to convict me now. My gun is at the scene of the crime. Explain to me how you're going to convict me. Come on. Fucking explain to me how you're going to convict me. My gun was at the scene of the crime. That woman is dead. Her home was robbed. That gun is circumstantial evidence for you fucking empty-headed motherfuckers like Victor. That is not proof I did anything. But go ahead. You jerk-offs would send me off to the firing squad. That's what you would do. So now the cops start to investigate. They got my gun. And they start to investigate. They start trying to look at neighbors' video fucking cameras. They start trying to track my phone. Not one camera can show my vehicle as being in that neighborhood. My phone is off during the time of that crime. And in fact, when they do a 6-month fucking search on my phone, they find out that I was never at the scene of the fucking crime. They find out that through my phone has never even been in that fucking neighborhood. They find out that I frequent the town, but that I've never been to that fucking location. Yet they got my fucking gun. Now what do? How do they place me at the scene of that fucking crime during the estimated time and hours of the fucking day or night that it happened? How do they do that? See, that's the part that you fucking guilters don't want to hear. You have to make it make sense. Not just that I found this gun. He must have did it. Well, no, you got a circumstantial piece of evidence that definitely leans. It definitely fucking leans. But that Hunter does not make that relevant to the crime. You're not understanding. You still have to place me in that house during the time of the commission of the crime. Even furthermore, you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt that the weapon, and only a weapon that came from that sheath, was used in the commission of this murder. Where's the fucking murder weapon in that particular case that you're making it? His DNA does not make him guilty of anything, nor does yours, nor does my gun at the crime scene of your neighbors that was just shot and killed and robbed through a home invasion. The presence of my firearm there does not convict me. That's the part that you guys just don't, and that's why you should never look for who did it. You should always look for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You need proof beyond a reasonable doubt to place me inside of that home with that gun, killing that woman. That's the case you have to prove. Not the fucking, okay, my gun was there. And then do what Brian did. And he stood up and remained silent. The car being not his car is a huge problem for the state. Even worse than that. Not a single video in all of the 68 terabytes can Brian Koberger's car or Brian Koberger be identified. So you mean to tell me that you fucking jerk off policemen collected 68 terabytes of fucking data and none of it shows Koberger, yet this motherfucker's in jail? Why is he in jail? Somebody explain that to me. Why is the kid in jail? Listen, I'm telling you, you guys, I don't know what the crime stories have changed. I'm going to say that I've been watching old crime shows, folks, old from the 50s and 60s, because these crime shows are nothing new. And let me give you a news flash. These fucking crime shows from the 50s and 60s and 70s did something that today's crime show doesn't do. The cops aren't breaking the fucking law and cheating the fucking system to come to their conclusion. That's the difference between the earlier crimes and the ones you're seeing today. Today, all these fucking cops are sneaking in through doors, not getting warrants, doing all kinds of fucking because they know the guy did it. Knowing and proving are always two different things, and that's what makes the American justice system the best in the world. No matter what DNA, it could have been his blood. It could have been a blood stain on the sheath. It wouldn't have mattered to me. Here's the other argument for the fucking guilters. How the fuck even the people that think he's innocent? The fact that there's 3 other unknown male DNAs at the scene means that Brian Koberger is part of a crew. All of us early on were arguing that one person couldn't do that. Okay, so for those of you that think he's innocent, now how the fuck do you understand that he isn't innocent when he could have been part of a group of 4? I'm as accurate saying that than anything else. You can't have guilt or innocence in your observation as an onlooker. You just can't, folks. That's just wrong. It's ignorant. It's stupid. Because you could make up any kind of fucking story to fit the fucking argument he's innocent or guilty. But you can't make up a story on what the evidence suggests. Matter of fact, what the evidence states. That's what you're supposed to pay attention to. Unreal, man. Blood does not put people at the crime scene. Does not put people at the crime scene. It puts people at the crime scene. Let me retract that. Blood does put people at the crime scene, but it doesn't put people there during the crime. That's circumstantial evidence. It's very strong, but it's circumstantial evidence. So now you need to not only have the guy's blood or the DNA, you need to be able to physically place him there during the time of the event. And that's where police work begins. It's one thing to have a suspect's name, which is what they were given. For all intents and purposes, the FBI never ever said Brian Koberger fucking did it. Go arrest him. They said quite the opposite. That this is a tip. Don't get us involved. Don't bring this into the courtroom. That's exactly what they were doing because the FBI is violating your constitutional protections. That's what's going on. That's what they've been trying to hide. And this case is exposing it. And what are people doing? They're running around talking about innocence or guilt. Rather than going around paying attention to the crimes that are being done against other citizens, including yourself, by the officials that you've entrusted to enforce your laws. It's crazy. It's crazy how fucking off the rails we all are. Same thing in politics happens here. Yeah, people saying that he brought blood to fucking frame people. You people are some ignorant motherfuckers out there. And that goes for those of you that think he's innocent. I have no fucks to give. You're a bunch of ignorant motherfuckers too, to whether he's innocent or guilty. You're all ignorant motherfuckers. None of that's got anything to do with nothing. The evidence tells the tale. That's all you can base it on. Right? I mean, the justice, nothing's perfect in man's world. Unfucking believable. That's why it would be easy to be a defense lawyer. I wouldn't want to know whether you did it or not. I don't give a fuck what you did or didn't do. None of my business. TMI, motherfucker. You want to hire me? Give me the money. Let me review the fucking discovery, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do. This case, to me, is a slam dunk for a defense attorney. I'm surprised a law firm, I'm highly surprised a prominent law firm hasn't come forward. I can't believe that they haven't come forward and offered their services to Ann Taylor. It's insane, folks. Like these judges that are trying to block Trump. These people don't know the law. They're just doing it because they can do it from their position of power. They're exerting their power against the limits of the fucking three branches of government. The judicial can only rule on the constitutionality of a law. That's what a judge is supposed to do in a courtroom. That's why I think if Hitler's got any kind of fucking common sense as to what he really represents, he's not only going to have a Franks hearing, he's going to end this fucking case. You can't tell these stories to a magistrate to sign off on a warrant and arrest a guy on one piece of evidence, which Ann so fucking eloquently pointed out in the hearing. My gun at a crime scene doesn't make me the criminal. Period. End of fucking story. And if you guys have noticed, never once have I argued why I'm not the criminal, because that's not my job. My job isn't to explain the presence of the gun. It's your fucking job. I'm innocent. I didn't do it. How'd your gun get there? Shut the fuck up and you go get a lawyer. That's how you deal with that. That's how it's supposed to work, folks. And that's exactly what Brian Koberger has done. He shut the fuck up. And then the police told the story. You know, like I used to do with my daughter. I'll never forget this. My last thought will probably be telling my daughter the story about a man named Jed. That poor mountaineer that he barely kept his family fed. Yeah, that would be how he would do that, Thomas. He would accept, if he wanted to accept private counsel. Private counsel can also work in concert with you know, offer up their law fucking clerks or something. I don't know what Fritz said. What did Fritz say? Yeah, a lot of you fucking, there's Fritz's, there's the Jeff H's. But like I said, I don't give a fuck if nobody follows me. It's none of your motherfucking business who did it. You have one man being charged with the crime. The only thing you could do, the only logical, sensible thing you can do is examine the data that's being provided to you. And the only question that you need to ask is this data beyond reasonable doubt that Mr. Koberger committed the crime. That's all you're able to do as an observer. Solve the crime, decide who did it, blame people or peeing on Ethan, blame drug cartels and sex traffickers and blame the fucking frats and blame the fucking, what a bunch of fucking jerk-offs you all are. That's just jerk-off fucking life. I mean, talk about a drug addict. You're better off doing fucking drugs. Unfucking believable. Everybody's guilty until proven innocent. You're right. That lacrosse case where they destroyed those young men. Yeah. The court overturned the conviction in that case. Yeah, who are these people to fucking do what they're doing, man? Why the fuck is, well, because this stuff takes a deliberate study. And even more so, whatever his answer is to this, it has to be a deliberate, based in law reply. If he's going to deny the Franks hearing, he's going to have to quote case law, and he's going to have to quote his reasoning behind that. The same goes for if he accepts a Franks hearing. It has to be based on solid fucking decisions that were made and are called precedent. Oh, he can attempt to set new precedent that's very rare for a trial court judge, but he can also go that route. So yes, no, and yes or no, and with a view that's a precedented view, a new fucking take on it all. But he has to rule on this, and the fact that he's even allowing it to be discussed tells you that he has concerns himself. And as Judge Hippler told the fucking state of Idaho, if the FBI violated this guy's Fourth Amendment rights, the consequences are with the state. I think Judge Hippler is going to have to take and do a Franks hearing. See, that's the problem is like, I don't know who that jerk off is that came in earlier, Victor, questioning my fucking law degree. Look at people with law degrees like Nancy Grace that they get to be put on TV. Where someone like me doesn't need a law degree, neither do you. You just need common sense. Read the information and ask the question: Is that data conclusive evidence of Mr. Kohlberger's presence at the crime? And when you read the data, the answer is no. And then you have to ask the question: What does this evidence show, and why are they trying to use this evidence in particular? And when you ask those two additional questions, there's only one answer to it. The reason why the police did what they did was because they got the name Kohlberger from the FBI. And they went back. And because he lived in the area, because he drove a white sedan, and because they had phone pings, they had his phone, they could then propose a case against the guy. That's what they did here. They didn't base it on any evidence because nothing that they had gave them facts to place Brian at that home. The only fact they had, I call it tunnel vision as much as ignorance and bad training, very bad training, that this kid could even be in jail this long. Yeah, people saying he's that smart. He's that smart. Let me just tell you how smart the murderer was in this fucking crime. And I don't care what anybody says about this. I don't think that knife sheath had any chance of being transported into that home. That sheath and that knife were part of that home. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. There's no way that knife sheath ended up where it ended up without the victim placing it there herself. There's no way. None of those doors weren't broken down. There weren't any fucking K-bar, fucking pry bars, fucking some way to enter them apartment fucking doors. And then when the cops show up, everything is open and there's nothing wrong with them. No. That crime does not denote an outsider intruder coming into that home and committing that crime. Unless that outside intruder was allowed into that home. And that intruder was there before the fucking people came home. If you assess the crime scene as the images that we now have, the conclusions that you're going to come to will differ from the one man. But that doesn't mean I can tell you who did it. There's a billion scenarios here. No different than with Kohlberger. Kohlberger could have got dropped off. He could have parked his car, turned off his phone, walked, jogged, ran, caught a bus, done something, got in someone else's vehicle, got dropped off, and killed these girls and young man. There's a million ways you could make him guilty or innocent. Yeah, he's 30 years old now. Yep. And there's a million ways that you can argue he did it. But none of us can argue with evidence. It's all theories and what you believe. I believe he did it. I believe he's innocent. I hear Harsh argue that the guy's innocent all day long, and I laugh at that. There's no way to determine that, the truth of that, because there's too many unknowns. However, you can determine, based on what the police have showed us, that their whole investigation is like wiping your ass with your bare hand. right? And then fucking going to eat fucking a sub with it. You sick, filthy fuck. Your shit covered hand, you're going to hang on to your submarine sandwich and feed yourself. This case is fucked. And how it is that all of these people want to come up with these ancillary arguments. Well, maybe he planted the blood. Yeah, that's what he did. And he took a glove to the crime scene. Somehow he got somebody to put their blood on a fucking glove, or he planted it. What a bunch. That's what I mean. They give you fucking scenarios that are unarguable because they're false. It's like arguing against it's like trying to convince a fish it's okay, you can breathe. Catch a fish and put it in your boat and talk it back to life, you fucking twits. That's what this is like when you got these people want to have a discussion about who did it, how they did it, They're unanswerable fucking questions, and your scenarios are just ignorant. Yeah. If not Brian Koberger, then who? The fact that anybody asks you then who, you need to get them out of your life. Right? You need to get people like that out of your life. These people aren't thinking. They have no conscious understanding of the word thought. They need to know who it was. No, you don't. That's not your kids. It's not your town. It's not your situation. The best you can do if you want to help that family and help your fucking own children is make sure the cops get this shit right. Because if you think that you're safe in this country with the fucking kind of work that was done there, you're out of your fucking mind. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable, man. It really is. Because those are the people that need to be kept track of. Just, I'll have with that. I got 15 minutes left and I'm going to end. And when this divorcee was slaughtered in her own garage and beat to death by her ex-husband, the cops didn't panic. The cops canvassed the neighborhood, found that there was a scream at a particular part of the night, that it scared one neighbor, and that neighbor then took her dog for a walk. On her walk, she passed the murder scene, and in the driveway was a Ford F-150 that was black, and she snapped a photo of it, including the license plate. And then the next day, it was gone. And somewhere in that day, people from work went over to try to see why she didn't show up, and eventually the body was found. That neighbor's information was enough for the police to realize that the truck that was identified by her belonged to the ex-husband. And they didn't arrest the ex-husband on that information. They didn't. Let me be very clear. They did not arrest the husband on the information that his truck was in that fucking driveway that night. They went to a court and they got a subpoena to impound the fucking truck. They then searched that truck forensically. And without much effort, they found the deceased woman's blood inside the truck. On the brake pedal, on the floor, on the shifter, on the seat. And that then led them to arrest the ex-husband as the killer. They eventually were able to retrieve her security camera's video, that because she was on her own now, she had a lesser expensive video surveillance system. And when that video was finally obtained and given to law enforcement officials, they had an actual video of the husband beating that woman to death in her garage, his ex-wife. But what's important here is the way the Florida police handled the information they were given explains exactly what I keep trying to point out to people. Circumstantial evidence doesn't get you convicted. You have to have evidence to support beyond a reasonable doubt. That's why these arguments of guilt or innocent are so ineffective and so irritating. The American public needs to be educated to how things work. And when you see them work in a fashion that makes sense, I would have arrested him because I saw the photograph of the truck. Well, then you shouldn't be a policeman. You should be the furthest thing from the law, unless you're the criminal we're putting in jail. That should be the closest you get to the law. Otherwise, you need to stay. If you're not going to be the criminal, don't be the observer. You're an idiot. If you think that the pickup truck's presence in that driveway was all they needed to arrest the husband and charge him with the homicide of his ex-wife, you're an idiot. But the police in that jurisdiction were extremely intelligent. As a matter of fact, when you go back into the old real crime, true crime fucking series that started out, you go back to the old Ironside and other ones, you'll see in most of those cases, especially in the 70s, that the importance was collecting the evidence to prove this person did it. That was the focus. And they had to do it legally. They had to do it legally. And that's just not what you're seeing in the modern true crime stories. It's as if whatever it takes to get to the right perpetrator is fair. And that's exactly not what Americans' justice system is about. And there's that divide between people that think and people that don't. And sadly, the amount of people that actually think are such a minuscule minority of the populace that is terrifying. We all run around thinking we have constitutional rights. We tell each other that's a violation of my constitutional right. You ignorant motherfucker, that is not, in fact, what anything is. You don't have any rights. That's the point of the Constitution. You're a free human being. There is no wrong for you to do. You can own a gun. You can say what you want to say. You can go where you want to go. You can be safe behind the fucking locked front, even with your front door wide open. They can't enter. These aren't fucking rights that you're given. They're limits that are placed upon the government that we, the people, formed to create a more perfect union. We got it all backwards. We've been brainwashed. That's why I have no patience for these fucking guilters or innocents or fucking people that don't understand simple thing like circumstantial evidence. That's what a blood stain is. That's what DNA is. That's what a weapon on the scene is. You find my gun at a crime scene. It's circumstantial. Right? So you're not going to charge me with murder when you fucking investigate and realize if she was killed between 2 and 6 a.m., this guy was at work from 12 to 8 a.m. We got him on video in the factory. Where's Victor, the fucking guy that put a screw in? You notice he ran off when I told him, you must have worked in a factory and put the same screw in the same product your whole fucking life? And he vanished shortly thereafter? Huh, imagine how Sergeant Friday can figure you fucking people out and I'm not even near you. Don't know you, never seen you, don't want to know you. And he fucking fled out of here like a fucking bird. Fucking twit that he is. Look at Heather, she's laughing her ass off. Most of them are an example of winning at all costs. And they don't, it's not the truth that the justice system is targeted at anymore. Take a plea to a lesser charge. No, motherfucker. No. Give me a lighter sentence for the same charge. Whatever crime you committed, you shouldn't be allowed to admit to a crime you didn't commit. How is there any sense in that? Definitely shares the IGG tree with Jeff. Yeah. Screw turners in a factory. Jeff strums his guitar. He's learned how to copy everybody else's music. Yeah, fucking twit, a fucking brainless motherfucker. Shocking world that we live in. Shocking that we've all lost the capacity to think. And I know I come across as a real asshole. And that's the best. I love myself for that. I'm a real asshole so that you don't gotta be. Unfucking believable. The world we live in is insane. That's why I sit on Twitter and I shame and make fun of these people. I have no interest in fucking talking about your fucking lies. You baby killing fucking murderous war starting pieces of shit. You got nothing I want to discuss with you. Not a fucking thing other than get the fuck out of our way and let someone else do the job according to the principles we laid out for you in that document we call the Constitution. Some little fucking midget in Europe, fucking Ukraine, telling us how he's talking about world politics. The only world that motherfucker knows is the money he's stealing from us. Unbelievable. None of these, they need to be shamed. That's how you're supposed to interact with these goofballs on Twitter. You're not supposed to engage in their fucking propaganda. You're supposed to shame them for the filthy warmongering, baby-killing motherfuckers that they are. And never, ever, ever say anything to them that doesn't keep reminding them you know exactly what the fuck they are. You filthy fucking sodomizing, baby-killing motherfuckers. And you need to hammer all. I don't give a fuck who they are. It could be President fucking Obama. All of them. They need to be reminded of just what immoral, filthy fucking pieces of shit they are. Same thing with Mitch McConnell. Same thing with the fucking with the Mitt Romneys and the others in the Republican Party. You don't engage in discussion or counter their argument. You let them know you know exactly what kind of a filthy, worthless, murdering piece of shit they are. Okay? That's how you interact with these people on fucking X. All you guys want to debate, oh, look at this left-winger with a pussy hat. That fucking filthy pussy hat wearing piece of shit will kill off her fucking babies in her womb and fuck men just for the sake of fucking them to make babies to kill them. That's what she needs to be reminded of. That's who you are. That's where you need to stand on the higher moral ground that we have under our feet. You know, unfucking believable. You're going to take my money to find out if there's fucking homosexual fucking frogs. Dude, I'll beat you to death with a fucking shovel. You stupid motherfuckers. You're going to give my money to people invading my country and raping my fucking kids and swamping us with fucking drugs? Are you fucking serious? You sick motherfucker. What about the fucking homeless guy in the street with the drug problem? I got more respect for that motherfucker than I do any of these immigrants that you're giving all my money to. That's how you need to counter these people on the internet. These sick fucking immoral pieces of shit. That goes for anybody, even people that you see like that in the Trump administration. Don't hold back. Don't engage these people on the topics they want to engage you with. Don't try to fucking make like that fucking, all of these motherfucking talking heads from Ben Shapiro and all the other ones out there, the Bonginos, selling you all this outrage. Oh, look what the left did today. Fuck you, Bongino. You worthless fucking snake in the grass piece of shit. How come you're not out here offering solutions? Why don't you take your millions of followers and go after the corporate criminality that keeps invading my privacy? What the fuck kind of useful tit on a bull are you, Tucker Carlson, you fucking jerk off? I don't need to hear the outrage. I don't need to be outraged. I don't need to pretend I'm smarter than the guy on the other side of the aisle. You know what I need? Solutions. Fuck you guilters and you fucking innocent people. You need to think about what's only within your purview. Stay in your fucking lane. You're an American citizen. Pay attention to the evidence and make your decision based on that, you fucking twits. Don't go out there trying to solve the crime. Unfucking believable. Holy fuck, we live in a fucking tornado of ignorance. It's fucking impossible to understand how we've even maintained this country. Talk about a fucking rant. I could rant on for 24 fucking hours. Unfucking amazing. It's just beyond amazing. From the sheer weight of stupidity, we should have collapsed already. And you guys don't want to believe in God. You got your fucking head stuck so far up your ass, there's nowhere else for it to go. As a matter of fact, your head being up your ass is why I tell you to I don't tell people to go fuck themselves. Because their head's in the way. They can't fuck themselves. They need to get their head out of the way. Then they can politely go fuck themselves. But most of you's got your head in the way. So that whole term has been ruined. The whole concept of telling someone to go fuck themselves has been wrecked. Because everybody's got their heads up their ass. What is it about having your head up your ass that's so fucking appealing? Oh, Brian did it. No, he didn't. Holy fuck. Fucking incredible. Meanwhile, we're entertaining ourselves into bankruptcy and destruction. We're arguing over issues that have no fucking bearing in reality, and they're not going to change the cause of our issues. Our core issues have got nothing to do with his innocence or guilt. Nothing. People are going to be people. People are going to do fucking stupid things. People are going to do good things. That's not going to change. Obviously, you want people to do more good things than bad things. Right? How do you change that? Through example and through getting people to understand it's not whether Brian did it or didn't do it. It's whether it can be proven. And it's got to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. That's all that matters. Is what they're offering us as evidence reasonable? The answer is fucking no. No fucking no fucking no. Is the information against Karen Reed reasonable? No fucking no fucking no. Even if she did back her fucking ex-husband over, her fucking boyfriend, okay? Your evidence is a bunch of fucking bullshit. Let her go. Come back and try again. Leave that door open. Did Brian do it? No, we don't know. We can't possibly know. Not when the information you're giving me places him miles away from the scene of the fucking crime. Try again. Let the guy go. Come up with more evidence and try again. Make it make sense. Not because you can lie, cheat, and swindle and harass and con a fucking juror, but because your evidence speaks for itself. Very rarely is a crime committed to which the evidence wouldn't speak for itself if the investigator sought the information needed. It's not this. I don't understand people. Like people come in here and they think the law is complicated or a rocket is complicated. Every one of you fucking people on this fucking earth had the capacity to understand both. Every one of you. There's no excuse for you not to know how a rocket engine works or a fucking toaster. No excuse. None. None for you not to know how your government's supposed to function and what its place in your life is supposed to include. There's no reason for you not to know that. We've gotten lazy. We've gotten fucking complacent. We expect people to do the things they're supposed to do. That's not the world you live in. No, but you are privy to the information that's been collected and spoken to, Thomas. And that information that's been given and spoken to shows that the police have no idea where Brian Kohlberger was, and nothing that they can say can put him in that home. Factually, what they can show you places him nowhere near the home. And so that evidence speaks for itself. Next, well, we got DNA. Okay. How, when, where, why, and how did it end up on that knife sheath? We don't know. Next suspect, please. That's how that's supposed to work. You may in fact be letting the killer go, but that's the way the system works. That's how you're supposed to enact and engage that system. That's how shit goes, man. It's with Doug in Moscow. Let me see. Yeah, the media telling us what to think. That's what the media does. They give you the context to view things. Oh, Elon Musk is going to be looking at here's can I give you an example? Elon Musk is going into the IRS and he's going to know everybody's social security number. La 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 la. Whatever their argument is. Well, you stupid motherfuckers have been letting companies do that to us for how long? If Elon Musk can't do it, why can fucking Apple? Why is Apple privy to all my fucking data and information, my location even? But Elon Musk can't go and audit agencies in the government as a special fucking assistant to the president? Really? I thought the what the fuck is it? Anyway, I forget the term. But the executive branch has the power. That's their job. That's their one and only job. He's the top fucking law enforcement officer of the country, President Trump. And he can assign any agent to do whatever the fuck he wants. He don't need to go to the FBI or a department that exists. He can bring in an outsider, create a whole new fucking department. Right? But you're worried about this guy getting our private data. What about all your private data that's been stolen by China? Stolen by fucking Nike sneakers, Big Lots, AutoZone, Wendy's. What the fuck, bro? Those are our issues. Those are our problems. That is the crux of the issue. Your personal private fucking data. And none of your fucking talking heads, none of these cocksuckers do anything to inspire us to do something. They just want to keep putting out this fucking drama. Wow, Nancy Pelosi's worth $200 million. Let me clue you in, you dumb fucks. Her husband's worth most of that. Her husband's some big Hollywood fucking guy. So let's start with that. A big portion of that money is her husband's. That had nothing to do with her being a politician. I'm not defending Nancy Pelosi, but I'm saying let's start with the facts. Now, should she do financial reports? Should we see whether her mother, her brother, her sister, her husband, her son, her cousin, her neighbor was given any fucking information that allowed them to enrich themselves and share it with the Pelosi's? That needs to be known. And I'm completely open to somebody in public service not being protected in some circumstances by the government limits because they are a government fucking agent. They're not supposed to fucking break the law, nor are they supposed to be protected by that very Constitution. They should not have the same right to privacy that you and I have once they enter public service. You're the fucking government, bro. I can look up your ass as deep as I want, provided all of you get your fucking heads out of your own ass. It should be up the ass of your politicians, your police chiefs, your school board, your superintendents of schools, your county fucking commissioners, your town boards. That's where your head's supposed to be stuck into, not your own fucking ass. And you run around on fucking X playing all these fucking outrage fucking games. And you're letting fucking these people like that. Who's that dude there, man? Goes into these fucking colleges and shows you just how fucking stupid these college kids are. I don't need any more of that. I don't want to hear or see any more. I don't give a fuck how Charlie Kirk, you fucking twit. Another one of these fucking ignorant, outrage dealing motherfuckers getting rich off your ignorance out there because your head's up your ass. Unbelievable. Group of folks that think the Idaho thing is a federal investigation that went awry. There's some Fed contact there, but I almost wonder if it wasn't an investigation. That's something else no one talks about. In 2022, was it 22 or 2020, where they falsely accused that doctor or that chiropractor of killing his competitor? There you go. Yeah. No, you're right. The executive branch, there's walls that the judicial can't get through. Golf passed away. I knew she was sick. 20 and 21. What did Twist say? Yeah, I didn't know that. Her and I used to talk on the phone, man. Golf inspector was, her and I got along real well. We had different points of view, but we could actually get by all of that easily. Correct, Heather. I honestly suspect that there was federal involvement in Moscow because of, and in Idaho, because of what happened with that other case where the cops lied. And that's the other thing that really drives me nuts is when you're looking at proof, and now you're being shown that the same people in the Koberger case, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong here, but to my knowledge, the same guys in the Koberger case were also in a case where they did the same thing with phone pings and video. And they constructed a case against a doctor that he murdered a guy down the street from his office. And he never did it. He didn't do it. But they concocted it based on video and phone fucking surveillance. And the whole time, folks, if you watch what they did and listen to the story, it clearly looks like the wife and someone she knows killed the fucking husband. But that never gets brought up. It never gets looked into. It never gets investigated. They focus on the guy up the street. And in the end, it was overturned. And the guy's suing him for God knows how many millions. Right. Yeah, that's sad. If I would say let's have a moment of silence. So that means I'm going to shut up for a minute, because golf inspector was fun, man. She said something one day that was so out of fucking. So it was so besides her. She was fairly sensible, and she said something that was fucked up. And I said, "You're no longer the golf inspector. You're the ass inspector." And man, we all burst out laughing. She accepted the title of ass inspector. She thought it was funnier than fuck. She was okay in my book, man. So I'll be quiet for a minute, and that'll be our moment of silence. All right, there you go. That was a full minute. So we gave her the whole minute of silence. And yeah, that's sad, man. And that's something that we all have been, we all are going to face. So I hope she faced it with that smile and that sensibility that she had. And Who knows? Who knows what comes next, folks? We just don't know. That's about an interesting topic, one that we'll may never have an answer to, or may find that answer on the day that we all take that step off. You know, you don't know the unknown, and yeah, who knows, man? Who the hell knows? Anyway, yeah. So for those of you that came in here to hear me rant, let me see. So I got 54 there, 41 there. I don't know how it's saying I got 3 people on Rumble. Woohoo! I think I got more on X than it's showing. We're gonna refresh and see what comes up here. Yeah, there's 112 of you on X. X kicks ass, man. I got a small audience at X. I don't know if they're regulars or not, but hell yeah, go X, go Elon, freedom of speech. Let me see. I got a notification. Terry Skipper and Twiz. Oh, Twiz, you're on you're on X too. Twiz is an Xer. Twiz is an Xer. Not me. My next life, I wouldn't mind coming back if I had a choice of coming back to be human again. Right? What the hell? I can tell you one thing though. I have such a distaste for dishonesty that I suspect. I mean that drove. I'll tell you why. No, just listen. This is why. And I think this actually was a contributing factor for both the pain in my life that I caused and the ability to survive and come away from it. Now, Twiz finally said something that a lot of people don't hear, but he's missing something. He is missing something in that, but it's minute, but it does make the biggest difference of all. The reason cancer, it doesn't appear to be curable, and the reason cancer is so hard to fight is because it's your immune system doing it to you. So if you get liver cancer, read what Twiz just says. You can't cure cancer. It's a natural process of your cells duplicating. And that's the problem. For some reason, the duplication doesn't stop. And that's what cancer is. So a healthy human being, your body is constantly replacing its cells and self-repairing. And a person with cancer, one or many parts of your body are getting the signal to continue to reproduce these cells, and they won't stop. And there's where you get tumors, blah, 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 blah. The difficulty with cancer itself is your own immune system. Because in order for your immune system to target the cancer cell, it would have to target the liver itself if you had liver cancer. If you have stomach cancer, that's the real difficulty with cancer. So I appreciate you saying that, Twizzle Stick. Well, let me just say something else when I was ranting earlier about this case. Look, there's a footprint coming out of Dylan's bedroom. They're not telling you, but Ann gave us an indication that footprint right out by her door is probably indicative of somebody coming out of her bedroom. And if that's the case, then that fulfills the point that there may have been people in that the crime took place from within. And that there's also somebody, was it you, Heather, saying that Kaylee and Dylan had some kind of communications back in August that may have pointed to a potential crime or this crime itself? There's people out there, I don't know if that stuff is true, but from what you hear, Ann, when she describes this footprint, that they tried to incorporate that footprint is crazy. She has the picture listed in support of Frank's. Oh, what does the picture look like, Twiz? I haven't seen it. What is the picture? See, I've taken the last few days because it was Valentine's Day, right? I got a harem. It's my left hand and my right hand, and I had to fucking celebrate them. It is coming out. Oh. That footprint seems as if it's coming out of Dylan Morton's bedroom. That's what I've said. Yeah, that's the way I've understood it. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Carl Ferguson. Good night. Carl Ferguson, were you leaving? I'm going to go. Carl Ferguson found love inside of this ranting, raving maniac's fucking YouTube stream. Can you imagine people finding love in this room? Holy fuck. Talk about head shoved up the ass. Or Ethan crying for help outside of the bedroom. I don't know why he would go to Dylan for help. Yeah, good night, Carl. Oh, fuck out of here. I don't think that there's the suggestion that we'll never come up with a cure for cancer. Cancer is imminently more curable in the youth than it is in the adult. Just be aware. There's a likelihood you could cure childhood cancer or eradicate most of it. More so than there would be, because the body is still growing and developing. That's why all of that stem cell stuff was being discussed years ago, and it's still part of the scenario. And they were taking stem cells from the aborted fetuses. It's like, you guys know all that Planned Parenthood was selling fucking body parts. It's crazy, man. It's exactly what the Hitler Nazis were doing. Have evidence on their phone that Mowry told Judge Marshall connects to the crime going back to August. See, I don't know where that comes from. Terry Martin looked into this. Let me just say, Twiz, where does that information come from that you just posted? Yeah, Miss W, imagine that. Where the hell in a shitstorm of Sergeant Friday's stream that people find love? For fuck's sakes. But they say it can happen in all these crazy these places. Are they producing the warrant, though? But does Miss Potts show the warrant? Does she actually show the warrant so that people can then see that what she's saying? Can I say, folks, she shows the warrant, Heather? You got a copy of it? Do you have a copy of the warrant, Heather? Did you see the warrant? Let me say that's why when they poison you with the radiation therapy, they're trying to force your immune system and your body to focus on fixing everything, right? Rather than just that one fucked up organ that it's been making cells for. Anyway, she reads the warrant on the line, but she doesn't show it, right? Or does she display the warrant? Yeah, but you know something, Twiz? Everything in that statement was looking good, but you didn't put in Holiday Inn Express, so you can't really be as smart as you think you are. Sorry. I mean, you were almost there, bud, but you fucked yourself by staying at the Holiday Inn, but not the Holiday Inn Express. That's kind of tragic, Quiz. You were one fucking word away from genius. And, yeah, epic fucking fail. I don't know why, but there you have it. Oh boy. Look at this. This kid's insane. No wonder he didn't use the word express. You don't wish that on yourself, you dumb fuck. But you go for it. Let me know how it works out. I'll keep an eye on you. So, let me go over here. Open link, a new tab. We may have some supporting documentation to this. In the matter of application for a search warrant, wireless. Hey, it's case of a court order to seal and redact. This matter came before the court June 27, 2023, and the state's motion to seal and redact pursuant. The hearing was held by Zoom. Ashley Jennings appeared on behalf of the state. Ann Taylor, Jay Lodge, and Alyssa Massoud appeared on behalf of Mr. Koberger. The court reviewed the records, considered the arguments presented, weighed the interest in privacy and possible disclosure, and announced its findings of fact for the record. Therefore, pursuant to, the court finds it necessary to seal in part and redact the record related to the search warrant for the following reasons. The document contains intimate facts and statements, the publication of which could be highly objectionable to a reasonable person. The documents contain that might threaten the safety or endanger the life of individuals. It's necessary to preserve the right to a fair trial. Okay, so I'm going to just skim through what I'm looking at here. In the matter of motion, a temporary seal search warrant related to the document pending the hearing. Warrant return the search warrant, including exhibits in this. The private person have a right to a fair trial, whereof. All right, does this document, in the matter of application for search warrant for Verizon Wireless, both of my parents had cancer, both took chemo, both passed. See, that works good. Chemo is poison. That's right. It's to get your immune system to concentrate on other things. So I'm reading through this. Now they're up here by order that peace officers shall deliver the conjugal property in other kind of jurisdiction. Oh, first, okay. Oh, let me ask you this. So this clarifies something for me. So Maori requested to search his email, right? Okay, so now I understand that when he looked for phone records, okay, this makes sense in as much as I've always known that and it's always bothered me that Payne got additional warrants to go from June all the way up to the present on Koberger's phone. But then after Koberger was arrested, Maori applied for fucking phone records from August or something of August to whatever, August to August or July to August. And I was always thinking, why is he getting a warrant for records on Koberger's phone when fucking Payne had already had the whole collection of records on his phone? So now what I'm understanding is Maori's requests for phone records were for Verizon, which is not the AT&T that Koberger was using. But here's the question I have in this warrant. How do we know that the particular phone that this is related to, subscriber user unknown at this time, how do we know that phone, how do we know that or those phones did not belong to Brian Koberger? What gives people the idea they belong to the two girls? Right. They even give the last four digits on one of these phones, 1841, which I can't remember. What was it? 8451. I mean, I'm looking at this and I don't see. Yeah, there's one Verizon and one T-Mobile. Okay. But I don't see in here the names of the people. Okay. Okay, so those two phones belong to T-Mobile and the Verizon. One belonged to Dylan and one belonged to Kaylee. Is that correct, Heather? And so we're you know, I try to interact. I know it seems like it takes forever for people to reply in a chat. I have to read that thoroughly when I'm not online here. And hopefully this thing pops back up. Yeah, it won't let me open up that fucking shortcut. Why the hell is that happening? Hang on here. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, look what Thomas has just said. Let me highlight Thomas. Maury says their phones contain evidence directly related to the crimes that took place. That's fucking eerie. Oh, I missed Pot's live. I did. I guess. I guess I'm gonna have to go through and pay attention to her live. That is interesting. And so, yeah, we don't know. We'd be guessing. Musical contestant, we would be guessing. We don't know what the side hustle is. I find that rather staggering that one survivor and one victim had a discussion that connects to this crime. Yeah. See, that's some interesting shit. Well, that right then and there, folks, there could be a connection to Koberger right there, and we're just not aware of it because it's sealed. Does that make sense? People looking to find out if he did it or didn't do it, and they claim that there's evidence we don't know about. I still say the evidence they used to arrest the guy is highly deficient in any accurate way to put him at that crime scene. Perhaps some text that took place from the bar. Right. Yeah. Yes, she's making it very clear that there is no connection in all the evidence that we're aware of. Right. And so, yeah, that was good info there. Twiz and Heather and Thomas. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. That's an interesting aspect of the case that I wasn't very aware of. I brought up what I brought up because I had some idea of it. Was Maurer really misleading the court? I mean, you could just keep guessing on what that conversation may or may not have been, or the connection. But if it was texted, yeah. Well, at the time, what was going on with the sororities in the France was a nationwide crackdown on exactly that fraternity for drugs. They were the operational fucking outlet for the cartels. That we know to be true. So, yeah, I mean, if there's another explanation, and it points to others in this suppression hearing, and all the things that they lied about to get Koberger, then now party on. I mean, there may be a way for the case to be investigated to solve the case. Yeah, I hate guessing too. I hate that too. But we'll see. We'll see what that evidence is, and then we'll be able to understand it. But it is hard sometimes to see that stuff and not wonder, right? I mean, we're all human. But let's go. Let's let it go. So now we have that piece of information, and we'll see where it ties into everything else that we've been told. But it would suggest to me that it's unlikely to not point, or it's unlikely to be fully exculpatory for Koberger. I imagine it could be, but it seems unlikely. I'm saying that's, I forget the name of the exact fucking, they were busted in Georgia, I think. They were busted in a couple of other states. That one sorority, or whatever the fuck you call them things, had problems with drug distribution, and they were being investigated for it. You can wake up as a guilter. That's possible, but I'm going to say to you folks, remember that the classification of that knife sheath is what gave them the leverage to run the IgG on it. The other pieces of the other samples in the house, unless they were directly connected to the victim, then that's why they didn't run IgG on it. There is a carve out in how that IgG can be used. But here's the problem with that carve out is, why wasn't the carve out done with warrants, and why wasn't the carve out done properly by the FBI and all work saved? I strongly feel that there was a whistleblower at the testing lab. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about any next door camera. I don't accept any of that as evidence. Okay. And I don't make any conclusions on those cameras that we're able to see online. I think it's about insanity to pay attention to that. You can't prove anything from that. And it just is what it is. That's just, to me, that all came out, and what's his name will confirm this. Even Rory would confirm this. When I was animate that we all needed to start paying attention to Dylan, and I got everybody on panel to agree that that's what we were going to do for the next upcoming shows, by 5 o'clock that night, that Linda Lane footage was dropped, and the true crime community started sucking the cock of that Linda Lane footage. And my argument that we needed to go forward with looking into the survivors got lost and ignored. I don't think that was a coincidence by any shape of the fucking imagination. So what did Heather post a link to? I got to get over to there. What is she showing us here? What show your link? A motion to suppress. Yeah. I think everything that she's doing, I'm just saying, any of these Banfield videos, these grub truck videos, these, unbelievable, man. None of those videos are relevant to the accusations placed against Brian Koberger. If you want to be a mystery fucking streamer and solve this crime or figure out who did it. I don't even understand why people would waste their time doing that, but whatever. I just don't go for it in here. Hang on, page 14, she says. So let me go down. Page 4, page 10, page 14. It's a that page 14 is about getting warrants, cell phone warrants. Yeah. But I agree with Ann Taylor's assessment that all the lies told to get the arrest warrant makes any information subsequent to that fruit from the poison tree. If they had evidence Brian Koberger was in that property at that time of night committing that crime, and the evidence made sense, even if it weren't direct, but that they could show his car, they could show it in that neighborhood, they could show it pulling away at 420, that would be more circumstance on top of circumstance on top of circumstance. I don't like that, but that is how it can work. But in this case, the only circumstantial evidence they have is transfer DNA that they've amplified and fucked with. Yeah, blurry blobs on a screen. I mean, that could be your Uncle Bob for all the fuck we know. And those blurry blobs, and you got the FBI saying it's 11 to 13. You got the Idaho cop saying it's an 11 to 16. There's too many contradictions in their arguments. And the contradictions among themselves are the worst. One statement that came out that they fouled and stuck to is, here's the other thing that wasn't said. Brian Koberger was known early in the case, but he was excluded from the suspect list. And this is what ruins the fucking Idaho cops. The only way they could have excluded Brian Koberger was because his Elantra was a 14 to a 16, and they accepted the 11 to 13 analysis. But then later, once they got the hit from the DNA, they suddenly changed their fucking tune. And now everywhere they looked, they saw Brian Koberger's fucking car. That's what happened to the cops here. But they did admit to it knowing and excluding him early on. It wasn't a serious investigation into him. And I bet you the exclusion was clearly fucking based on the information the FBI gave them on the identity of the vehicle. So there's a whole bunch of contradictions, a whole bunch of crazy going on here. And none of it really makes any sense other than these cops are idiots. These warrants, I'm going to read these, but I'm going to step off now. And I'm going to get it's 11:38. Not really late here, but they couldn't link him, right? That's why tearing his car apart and searching it was like the most ignorant. If anything proves that if any car was involved in the crime, the FBI agent got it right. And the further proof is the dissemination of his car, tearing it apart and finding nothing. The odds of that are just simply astronomical. Right. No, you're right, Thomas. An FBI specialist examined the images that were given him around that crime scene, and that's where he came out with that. Yeah, I think they may have called it a Nissan Sentra in the beginning. Listen, I don't even care if they made some mistakes. What I would like to see is them showing us that a car was involved in this crime to begin with. The steak and the eggs were fucking fantastic. Oh, it was the tenderloin that I saved for the steak and eggs. And boy, oh boy. Over easy eggs, tenderloin steak, and home fries. Fantastic. Let's see. That's the car in that stupid Gray Hughes photo. DTS was connecting the dots to it last night. Yeah, that fucking guy's an idiot. Drunk Turkey, is that who you're talking about? So, all right, listen, folks, it's been wonderful. It's been great. I still never got a text back all night from Cletus, even though I sent him two. So I'm going to have to call Cletus tomorrow and see what's going on with him. In the meantime, all you stay out of trouble, but if you get in trouble, don't get caught. Do not leave your DNA behind. Mm-hmm. All right, folks. I will talk with you again. Have yourselves a hell of an evening. God bless, Golf Inspector.